Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing another Q&A video. Got lots of awesome questions from you guys. Going to go through them in this one, leading up to The Walking Dead Season 6, Episode 2, which is called JSS. Alright, so I want to thank you guys for all the awesome questions this week. Definitely after the premiere, there was quite a bit to talk about, and you guys certainly sent me a lot of your questions so that we have, lots of things to go ahead and talk about. So I hope you guys have been enjoying them. This will be the second last one. I'll have a video for you guys tomorrow as well, too. Probably going to do some stuff for Fear still, even though Fear, is over now. Probably some videos about that too. So that's coming. If you have Fear questions, you can send them to me as well. But we're shifting more towards the regular Walking Dead since, of course, its season has begun and has kicked off in a pretty awesome fashion. I want to say, not the greatest ever, but a good fashion so far. First question for this Q&A is from Pop Culture Stuff, and he says, "Hi Trev, if I didn't misunderstand it, Morgan said he learned to use his staff after the apocalypse started. So do you think he was with someone for a while who trained him since we last saw him in season 3? Yeah, that's my understanding. My understanding is that he picked this up after Rick met him before, because when Rick fought him before, when Morgan was confused and didn't know it was Rick, in season 3 in Clear, we didn't see a staff anywhere. At least from my memory, I don't remember. He certainly didn't use one, but we never saw a staff, lying around that he would be using. So he must have met somebody that either changed him or, he joined maybe a small group or something that was wiped out on the way to meet Rick or something, and he was taught how to use the staff on the way. Because the thing with the zombie apocalypse, if you're going to stay in one spot with booby traps, it's probably okay to use firearms. But if you're going to travel on the road, you're definitely going to want to get good with a weapon of some kind, hand-to-hand weapon that's not a firearm because of the noise, unless you can muffle the noise with a silencer or something. Plus, you use up bullets. So, for random zombies as he's going out trying to find Rick and doing everything like that, having the staff as a weapon would be incredibly, incredibly useful, similar to maybe a crowbar, Michonne's katana. Daryl's crossbow also kind of falls into that category because it's quiet. Any kind of quiet weapon you could use certainly is a good idea if you're going to go out, in the open and kind of wander around and try to find people. So, I hope we see that in a flashback. They haven't said for sure yet, but I've heard some stuff online that we will see some kind of flashback episode or something. So I hope that's a Morgan episode, and I hope they do that first season, because I'd really like to see that maybe after they deal with this kind of stuff with the wolves and with the huge herd with no way out. After they're done with that, maybe in around episode 5 or something like that, 6. I'd like to see a flashback episode of Morgan and how he learned that. I'm hoping to see that, so we'll see what happens with that. Next one is from Terry Ricketts, and he or she says, "Hey Trev, just an observation concerning the Quarry. It looks to be that the Quarry is a wolf trap, as Derrek mentioned in season 5, episode 16. Why would a quarry have regular semi trucks to move dirt? More of a dump truck kind of thing, I would say. But the wolves have access to semi-trucks more easily. I hope I'm getting the idea across. And now Rick springs the trap, a wolf plan all along. P.S. I would have just bulldoze the exit of the quarry so the walkers can't get out, and maybe torch the quarry full of roamers." Well, I think that Rick's strategy was a good one, but obviously they didn't account for the truck to fall when it did, because it just kind of came down out of nowhere when they were planning and they were getting ready to kind of let them out. It just kind of happened. It was supposed to be a dry run, and it just fell, and then they started coming anyway. So it was actually good that Rick and the group had some kind of an idea of what they were going to do, and were already preparing, because when they actually went out there, that was the exact moment where it fell, and then they started to come through. So, but I do like your idea that there are some other ways they could have gone with it. The problem is there's so many zombies that it would have been difficult to do it any other way. Like if you try to trap them in there and bulldoze it out, or maybe like pile a whole bunch of dirt so they can't get out, that kind of thing. It's a good idea, but eventually if it rains and stuff like that, it can kind of it can kind of slide down, or maybe eventually, because they're going to be constantly trying to roam and get out of the place. So you got to make sure that 100% that if you're going to trap them in, that you're going to do it as best as you can, and that the environment won't change, so eventually they can get out. So that's another good idea that they could have done. Yeah. I like the fire idea too. That's something that I thought of too myself. Was that maybe you could torch them or something. Like maybe you could fill a car full of gasoline everywhere or something, and then weigh down the pedal, and then just light it on its way, and then just have it go over and just basically blow up. And fire would probably, if it's a really hot day, you kind of have to have the right circumstances for it, and it doesn't rain. If it's a really, really hot day, then it might be able to spread from one to another, because zombies are going to be so close and they're all packed in. Their flesh, they might be in like rags of clothes that they have, because they did, if you look at them, they do have some kind of things like that. If it's really dry, you might be able to get it to spread. But these are other ideas, and obviously they went for the one that makes sense too, which is to try and just steer it away rather than to try to kill them all or anything like that, or trap them, try to get them away from them, because eventually you kind of would want to anyway. I don't know if you're going to make it a long-term place to live. If you just want to try to trap them forever, until they decay, it's not a bad idea. But I do think Rick's idea too made sense. It's just that obviously they didn't expect for it to happen there, and we'll see. We'll see what happens with who was honking the horn. I mean, it's possible, since it was like a dry run, that it could be some idiot like Gabriel or something at Alexandria. We'll have to see what happens with that. I've heard some people message me that and say, what do you think about that? And I'm like, well, it could be, but it sounds like a truck horn to me, and that sounds like the wolves. So they probably were keeping an eye on them. Because we know they're going to be attacking soon this season as well. But who knows? They could throw us through a loop with that with episode 2. We'll see. Next one's from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then brackets 7, 8, 9. Nice. Nice, Dave. Hey, Trev, if you do another Walking Dead Q&A this week, well, I have. Will you answer my question? Yes, I will. Do you think Nicholas will ever redeem himself with Glenn and the fans, or do you think that he will always be a bad guy in people's eyes? Well, he might be able to redeem himself a little bit, but we'll never really like him that much, I don't think. Maybe he'll be okay unless he can save somebody or do something like that. Aside from that, he'll probably just be okay. He's all right. He's not, he's not that bad anymore. Next one's from, this one's actually a winner for the Walking Dead Season 5 giveaway. I've messaged 2 people. The winners are Joanix131 and Josh Twiddle. So you guys both win a copy of the Walking Dead Season 5 if you want it, but you got to message me through your YouTube accounts. Nobody else claiming to be them, message me. I've had that happen several times before, and I may even just stop announcing the winners because of that. It like every time I do, it happens. But anyway, their comments. Joanix131 was my favorite scene was when Father Gabriel said he could help, and Rick shut his mouth with a solid no. I laughed so much. Yeah, there were some pretty funny lines in it. That was one of them. And then the one from Josh, his favorite scene was when Rick and Morgan found the herd originally. So, it was really cool the first time they found it, the first time they saw it, because, like, WTF, pretty crazy, right? So, yeah, let's do, 1 or 2 more. Next one's from Jessica Gould, and she says, question number 2, she asked another question, but I've already answered it prior. Do you think that the original cast of The Walking Dead has any jealousy going on over Fear of the Walking Dead? They have always been the center of attention, and everybody loves them, and now, all these years, they have to share the love. What do you think about that? Well, I don't really think so. I mean, the original Walking Dead is still the big, it's the biggest one. Everybody knows that. And even if the ratings weren't quite what they were before, I think that over the course of the season, it will still do really, really well, and will probably still be higher than Fear. I would be flabbergasted if we ever got to the point where Fear of the Walking Dead actually had higher ratings, even for one episode, than The Walking Dead Season 6. So we'll see what happens with that. That could be interesting if that would, but I don't think they would be jealous or anything like that, because I think they're all probably pretty happy that they're still on the show, seeing as how it's The Walking Dead and people get killed off all the time, and also that the show became as big as it has. Because, it's when it first started, like when I first watched it, I mean, I thought it was amazing, but there's lots of stuff I think is awesome. I think The Strain is really good. I mean, there's lots of different shows that I think are amazing, but there's only a few that really get to that kind of a status, like Game of Thrones, Breaking Bad, The Walking Dead. Shows like that really become huge. It's really hard to tell which ones are going to. So I think they'd more be just grateful of how big the show has gotten and that it hasn't gotten canceled and that they've been able to stick with it all this time. Because it's just done so well. But no, I don't think I will be interested to see though in the future if Fear actually is able to gain traction and actually increase in viewers. If The Walking Dead was to decrease, that would just be really really odd. But I don't think that would happen. To do a prediction, I think that the original Walking Dead will always be the biggest until eventually it ends or Fear the Walking Dead ends, one of the two. Maybe if they do like a big finale for Fear, then it could maybe once in a while have a bigger episode, if it's like a premiere or finale. But generally, The Walking Dead should pretty much beat it every time, I would think. The original, that is. And last question we'll do from Keen O'Brien. He says, hey, Trev, question for your Q&A. Do you think Frank Grillo, who's Crossbones in Captain America, also The Purge, Anarchy, and The Grey, would be a good choice to play Negan on the show? Yeah, he would be. He could definitely do the fighting parts, Frank Grillo, and he's big, and he's got the dark black hair, so that fits pretty good. I think he's a little young. I'm not sure how old he is. Maybe I'm off with that. He looks, at least as Crossbones, he didn't look as old as I pictured Negan in my head. Granted, that would be okay. It wouldn't be the end of the world anyway. The only thing about him is I don't know if he can do the comedy stuff. I'm not too familiar with his career and what he's done so far. But yeah, I mean, I don't think he would be a bad choice. So if he can do the badass parts, it's going to be hard for them to find somebody who's going to be like perfect for Negan because they have to be able to do both of those. And, they're kind of opposites. They're pretty hard to do the badass serious parts and also the goofy fun parts at the same time with the comedy. So, but he would be not a bad choice. There's lots of choices out there. We'll see who they actually go with. It could just be somebody totally unknown, and we'll have to see how that turns out. I hope they get somebody good. Anyway, write your comments below, your responses to all these questions if you want to. Ask me additional questions for tomorrow if you're interested, if you want to, and any dealing with fear as well too is fine. If you like this video, please thumb it up below. Please don't forget, please click the thumb up. And you can share a favorite, and if you want to subscribe, if you're new, you can subscribe at the bottom left. That's it for today's Q&A. I'll see you guys again tomorrow. As always, it's Trev, and I'm saying peace.